When the Pentax K-3 Mark III was launched in 2021, it was widely seen as one of the last great APS-C flagship DSLRs, offering modern performance wrapped in a traditional design. However, with news of its discontinuation in Japan in early 2025, speculation has begun about what comes next. Many are now asking whether Pentax is quietly preparing the ground for a successor, the rumored Pentax K-3 Mark IV. The legacy of the Pentax K-3 Mark III. Before looking forward, it is important to understand what made the K-3 Mark III so well respected among enthusiasts. Released in April 2021, it was the first new DSLR in years and a bold statement from Pentax that DSLRs still had life left in them. The camera featured a 25.7 megapixel backside illuminated CMOS sensor, designed without an optical low-pass filter to preserve maximum sharpness. It was paired with Pentax's SafeFox 13 autofocus system, which provided 101 phase detection points, including 25 cross-type points for higher accuracy. This system, backed by an advanced real-time scene analysis engine using artificial intelligence, brought Pentax autofocus closer to the level offered by Canon and Nikon. One of the strongest aspects of the K-3 Mark III was its high ISO capability. With a native ISO range extending up to 1.6 million, it gave photographers remarkable low-light flexibility, although most practical shooting was done at more moderate levels. Image stabilization was another highlight, with a 5-axis in-body stabilization system that delivered up to 5.5 stops of compensation. This not only benefited handheld still photography, but also improved video recording, which supported 4K resolution at 30 frames per second. While Pentax was never known for its video features, the K-3 Mark III gave hybrid shooters enough to work with, even if it could not fully rival mirrorless video-centric models. Equally important was the build quality. The K-3 Mark III was built like a tank, with a magnesium alloy frame, extensive weather sealing, and resistance to cold temperatures down to -10 degrees Celsius. Its optical viewfinder offered 100% coverage and 1.05 times magnification, one of the largest and brightest in any APS-C DSLR, making it a joy for those who value the traditional experience of shooting through glass rather than an electronic screen. Other unique features included Pentax's Pixel Shift Resolution mode, which used the sensor's stabilization system to capture multiple exposures for greater detail, and the AstroTracer function, which leveraged GPS to track stars in long-exposure astrophotography. Despite its strengths, the K-3 Mark III had some limitations. It lacked a built-in flash, used a fixed rear screen rather than a fully articulating one, and offered only a single UHS-2 card slot alongside a slower secondary slot. These decisions frustrated some users who were hoping for a more flexible design. Still, the camera was highly praised by reviewers for its excellent image quality, durability, and for carrying the torch for DSLR enthusiasts at a time when the industry seemed to be abandoning them. In early 2025, Ricoh Imaging officially discontinued the K-3 Mark III in Japan. While the camera remains available in other regions for now, the move left a clear gap in Pentax's lineup. This sudden absence of an APS-C flagship led many photographers to believe that a successor was being prepared. The timing is also important. With Pentax having recently re-entered the film camera market and continuing to support the full-frame K1 series, the company has shown that it values a long-term commitment to both digital and traditional photography. Enthusiasts immediately began speculating on what a Pentax K-3 Mark IV might look like. Online communities, particularly forums and Reddit threads, filled with wish lists. Some suggested advanced features like eye-tracking autofocus, improved burst speeds of up to 15 frames per second, or even OLED rear displays. Others hoped for expanded video options, such as RAW video output or higher frame rate 4K recording. While most of these ideas remain speculative, they reflect the expectations of a community that sees the K3 series as the backbone of Pentax's APS-C strategy. Industry rumor sites also fueled these discussions. digital camera world hinted that the discontinuation of the K3 Mark III might be preparing the stage for a new announcement, possibly in 2025 or beyond. They noted that while mirrorless systems dominate the market, Pentax has built a reputation for resisting industry trends and carving out its own niche. First, an updated sensor is highly likely. The K3 Mark III already used a modern back-illuminated sensor, but newer designs could push resolution closer to 30 megapixels while improving dynamic range and noise performance. Advances in image processing engines would also allow for faster shooting speeds and more efficient power management. Autofocus is another area where Pentax could make meaningful improvements. While the SafeFox 13 system was impressive, the market has shifted toward even more advanced autofocus systems that integrate subject recognition, eye tracking, and AI-driven adjustments. If Pentax can deliver a DSLR autofocus system that rivals or even exceeds mirrorless competitors in accuracy, it would be a powerful statement. In terms of video, Pentax still lags behind. A K3 Mark IV would likely need to offer uncropped 4K video at higher frame rates, along with better support for external recording. While Pentax is unlikely to suddenly become a leader in video technology, addressing the basic demands of hybrid shooters would make the camera more versatile. Design and ergonomics are areas where Pentax rarely disappoints, and most users expect continuity. The rugged, weather-sealed body and large optical viewfinder are likely to remain central features. However, adding a fully articulating screen, improving connectivity options such as faster Wi-Fi or USB-C, and expanding dual card slots with equal performance could all address past criticisms. Some may wonder why Pentax would invest in another high-end DSLR when the industry is so heavily focused on mirrorless cameras. The answer lies in the company's philosophy. Pentax has repeatedly emphasized that it is not chasing mainstream trends, but instead serving a dedicated niche of photographers who prefer the DSLR experience. This strategy allows Pentax to stand out rather than compete directly with giants like Sony, Canon, and Nikon in the mirrorless space. Moreover, the DSLR market, while smaller than before, still exists. Many photographers enjoy the tactile controls, battery life, and optical viewfinders that mirrorless systems cannot replicate in the same way. By releasing a K3 Mark IV, Pentax could position itself as the brand that continues to innovate in a field most others have abandoned. This would strengthen loyalty among existing users while potentially attracting photographers who are disillusioned with the rapid pace of mirrorless change.